What's up, beer seekers? We've got another excellent Industry Insiders interview coming your way tonight, and this time it's going to be a little bit different. Tonight we're joined by Ricky Podsiadlo, owner of EmBREWdery Craft Merchandise. Ricky, thank you so much for taking the time to join us tonight.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. This is great.
Awesome. So when you think of the brew community, merchandising isn't like necessarily in like the foreground of what you're thinking of. How did you head down this road for developing merchandise for breweries?
Yeah, great question. And I get asked it quite a lot. Kind of long story short, but in college I started a company, kind of like for one of my classes, sort of thing. I sold winter hats online. I did that for about I don't know 5, 6, 7 years, 8 years, and then I moved to Boston. And when I was in Boston, I kind of had the side gig of doing these hats. And that was about the time, this was like 2012, 2013, about the time when, craft breweries started really opening up and started going. And one of the more famous ones now, Night Shift Brewing, they were just getting going. They were in like their little warehouse space in Everett, I believe, like where the casino is now. I went there one day, I reached out to them and I was like, hey, I noticed you guys have have some merchandise here in your little wall. They had like maybe like a t-shirt or two, and they didn't have much. This was back before breweries really had anything. And I got in touch with one of the owners, Rob Burns, and we started talking, and they actually ordered, that was my first order back in 2012 before I started EmBREWdery. This was like through Winter Hat Shop, the winter company I had. And that was sort of my first order, kind of got things going. And so they ordered a bunch of hats. I actually had them made. I actually remember hopping on the train and taking the subway. I think it was the red or orange line all the way over to Everett and hand delivering them. Wow. So that was a cool experience. And then a few years later, I moved to New York, where I'm originally from. And I would always drive back and forth from New York to Boston. And I would always plan these brewery trips because every time I probably went up at least a bunch of times, at least 10 to 12 times a year, if not more, back and forth. And literally you could go many different routes, and they all have like at least 5 to 6 different breweries on each route. So I would drive up, I would stop at a brewery, have like a sampler or two, go to the next one, half an hour down the road. And I would notice while I was doing this that all the breweries, so this would be in like 2015, 2016, they all had these little sections like on a wall or like behind the bar. They had a t-shirt or a hat for sale or a koozie or whatnot. And I was like, I just started thinking to myself, like, I like this industry. Just like you guys noticed, you kind of like this industry. And I loved it. I love traveling and I love going to these different breweries and kind of put 2 and 2 together. And I was like, let me try something with this. Let me see where this can go. And 5 years later, here I am. So in September, it's going to be 5 years, the official anniversary of EmBREWdery in September.
That's awesome. Congratulations on that.
Really cool.
Thank you.
So I think one of our first emails back and forth with each other, you mentioned you've been to like some crazy number of breweries, like 800, I think you said?
Yeah, I think I'm at around like 830 right now. All over the country. I've been to a few overseas in Europe. One of the most notable ones in Europe, you guys are probably familiar with, is Omnipollo or Omnipolo. I don't know how people usually pronounce it, but they're pretty famous. That was a cool experience. That's a cool spot. That's in Sweden. But yeah, I've been to over 800. And the funny thing and the cool thing is like they're all so different, and not really any one of them is the same. And some are in a space the size of your kitchen. Some are in, huge warehouses and industrial complexes and everything. So it's just, it's cool to go around and see all the different types of breweries that are out there.
Yeah, and what you just mentioned actually is kind of what like us started, is the fact that every brewery is super unique. It's not like there's this cookie cutter way of making your brewery and opening it up and all that stuff. So it's exactly why we like exploring. Question for you, kind of along those same lines. I have this obsession with finding like breweries in the weirdest places, like really remote locations and stuff. Like I found one that was in the Northwest Territories province of Canada. There's one. And I would just love to go there. But I want to know, with all the breweries you've gone to, is there one that stands out, like super remote brewery that you've been to, or something along like in a weird place?
It's a very good question. The most, I guess right now, the most notable and recent that comes to mind is Hill Farmstead. And I'm drinking one of their beers right now, actually. I don't know if you guys have had the pleasure to go up there yet or not.
Not yet.
But yeah, it's pretty far out there. I mean, I'm in Jay Peak, Vermont right now, which is like right by Canada, and it's still an hour away from here. It's pretty much like it's about 5 to 10 miles on a dirt road just to get there. So it's pretty remote, but it's a cool spot. And then, I mean, that's the most notable because it's the most recent. I was just there on Wednesday, got some fresh stuff, which is nice. Went to definitely a couple others when I actually drove cross country from New York to Colorado a couple years ago. So there were some in that I veered way off route to go check out that were like also very off the beaten path, but very cool experiences. Yeah.
Was there a point where you realized like, holy crap, I'm going to so many breweries, and it just became like this thing where now you have to go to every single brewery you can find? Or was it just organic?
A little bit of both. Yeah, a little bit of both. It was definitely a little bit organic, but mostly like, it's almost like, I don't know, it's like an obsession now, you know, like wherever I travel, wherever I go, I have to go to breweries. And, but it's a good obsession. Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I mentioned to Tim when I was talking to him. I was like, yeah, like you guys are doing the right thing. Like, this is one of the most fun things I could have ever envisioned doing. You know, I get to travel, I get to meet new people, I get to try new beers, I get to see all these different breweries around the country, around the world even, and it's awesome. Yeah.
Now,
So it's almost like I was just gonna say before you go, it's almost like I don't know if you guys are familiar with Pokemon, but it's kind of like Pokemon. You got to catch them all. You know?
Oh yeah, played my fair share as a kid.
We're all roughly the same age, so we got.
I was gonna say, is your whole wardrobe just like made up of entirely brewery swag?
Yes, literally. So this is I don't know if you guys know Tox Brewing in Connecticut.
Okay.
This is a shirt we did for them for their Toxtoberfest. It was like a Oktoberfest they had. But yeah, literally every shirt I wear is just I usually make a couple extras from each run, and my closet is full of them. And they're, you know, what I tell my customers, the breweries, is like, you know, some of them that I reach out to and I contact and I see when I look at their stores, they're using like Gildan or like other brands that like, for me, I'm all about quality, and I'd rather sell somebody and give somebody a better quality product, even though it might cost a little bit more. Cause that's just like, you know, I think it pays off in the long run. Like, people appreciate that, and people notice that when they're feeling and touching the shirt. So like all these shirts I wear that I make, you know, for these breweries and I make for myself, they're soft, they're super nice, they're super comfortable. I wear them for everything, working out, you know, all day, like you name it. It's my full wardrobe. Nice. Pretty much.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, is there something that you look for? Like, if someone reaches out to you and says, like, hey, we want you to make our merchandise, is there something that, like, there's a sticking point for you where you're like, okay, I like this logo, I like this, something like that, I need to make this merchandise for them?
Yeah, and it definitely varies. Usually it's, you know, it's, I don't know the right percentage, but it's almost like a 50-50 split where breweries will have their idea and their vision of what they want, and then we'll create it for them. Or they'll be like, hey, like, you know, here's our artwork, here's our logos, we don't really know what we want. Like, can you like give us some options and different ideas on what could work? So, you know, being that I've been to all these breweries and, you know, I'm heavily involved in the craft beer scene and all these different Facebook groups and Instagram follows and all that, you kind of get to see like what people like, what people don't like. And a lot of the time, like I try to tell my customers is like, it's kind of like their tap list. Like, it's cool to have like, you know, a standard offering that they can always have. So like maybe just their logo, one color, plain, simple on the shirt. And then it's also good to have these like one-off runs, like, you know, like beers where they make specialty beers and releases and stuff like that, where it's like a little bit more complex, cooler artwork, like more colors, more locations. So yeah, we're flexible. We we kind of work with the breweries. It's 50-50. Sometimes they know exactly what they want. We do that. Sometimes it's more of a collaboration and like a artistic process to get them what they want.
Is that something where they like reach out to you, say, hey, we need to upgrade our merch overall, or you reach out to them and say, hey, I see what you're doing and I can help improve on that even more? Does it work both ways?
It works both ways. I have customers reach out to me. I reach out to customers. Every brewery I visit, I always share my information and get their information, reach out. Again, I'm heavily involved on social media, so I contact breweries that way. We send out emails to breweries. We see what they have. And yeah, like you said, we do sometimes mention like, hey, I see what you have, but like, here's some other stuff we can offer or some other ideas I have. So it depends. There's no right solution. It's pretty much, it's sales. So it's like whatever works kind of thing.
Yeah.
And just to add to that before you go, Steve, sorry. It's one of the things I like about this industry, and I'm sure you guys have maybe noticed, going to these and having these interviews and going to different breweries, is like people are generally more laid back and relaxed and more like, just, I don't know, more people like, rather than like, if I was selling something to a business, to let's say another business, different industry, it's a little different because people are more like, what do you want? Go away, Whereas in the brewery industry, like, I walk in like this, for example, on Saturday, we went to Stowe Cider over in Stowe. We went to they had a little outdoor concert. I was wearing a hard Scrabble cider shirt we made for a cidery in New York. And this guy was like, oh, hey man, nice shirt. Like, how do you know hard Scrabble? And I was like, oh, like we did some merch for them. Like, I've had some of their stuff. And we just started talking, and he was the owner of Stowe Cider. And it was just like, it just like came out of nowhere. Like, we were just throwing out our garbage, and he just introduced himself. It was pretty cool. So yeah, so it's like, I really like that aspect of it. And I would assume you guys do as well. And what you're going to learn when you start working with more of these breweries, how like cool and, nice people are generally.
Yeah. And that's how we got started with these interviews. We were kind of just like, well, let's give it a try. I don't know how receptive people will be to it. We just reached out. Brewers have been very receptive. It's been very cool to see how easygoing the industry as a whole is. And you kind of already feel that when you go to breweries. But now that we're actually interacting with these brewers and everybody that works at them, it's very cool. Question I was going to ask you, as far as, so starting a business, at least to me, sounds overwhelming. I mean, you had a skill, you wanted to do something with it. What was the key to your growth, going from just, making shirts for night shift over in Everett to really, blowing up into an actual business that works with, I don't know exactly how many breweries, but yeah, how did it all, what were the keys to that?
That's a very good question. And a lot of people ask me that. And my answer would be, it takes time, a lot of work, a lot of patience, and a lot of effort. And it's a lot of people, you see these shows on TV, Shark Tank and all that, and like, they all look so like fun, like starting your own business, doing all this. What you don't see is like all the work, all the frustrations, all the setbacks, all the failures that go into getting to that point and getting to having a business that, that works and that runs. And, what I would say is that, takes time, but little things build up over time. So, when I first started 5 years ago, we did hats with just EmBREWdery. We did like one color screen printing on t-shirts. And we noticed that, customers and the breweries, they wanted other more complicated stuff. And so slowly but surely, I just, research, late nights, putting things together. I mean, back in the day, I bought my own little sewing machine to try to sew things onto hats and onto shirts. And it's just, it's just trial and error. And I think the biggest thing that I tell people is like I just said, is just do something every day to build towards something. Just build towards something big, because those little pieces that you do each day, even though like some days, even on the weekend, like, on a Sunday, not feeling, really up to doing anything, I want to just go enjoy the day and whatnot, but you do one thing and, it adds up. So that would be my recommendation, is just, do something small, keep doing it and keep pushing. and put in that work, it pays off. I mean, you know, a lot of nights I'm up till 2, 3 a.m. just working away. That's some of the quietest and best hours to get stuff done.
You can keep your eyes open. Yep.
Yeah.
So I got kind of a subjective question for you. In your opinion, what makes a good brewery logo?
Another good question. I would say the famous acronym KISS, KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. You know, a lot. And I'm sure you guys have seen it, but there's sometimes where breweries and even other businesses, you know, it doesn't matter what the business is really, but you know, they try to get too complicated. They want to have they want to have 10 colors in their base logo. They want to have all these designs, all these intricate details. And, you know, while it like might look good to them, a lot of people don't think about all the ramifications that has when you want to do anything as simple as like getting a sign made for the front of your brewery, getting a banner printed for a festival, getting, you know, shirts done, getting, you know, whatever it is. The more complicated your logo is, the harder it is to get done, and it doesn't resonate as much. So, I mean, I think a good example is like Treehouse Brewing. I mean, you know, they're huge, right? Obviously, but their logo is so simple. It's just one color. It's just a tree house and a tree, and that's it. There's no like beer in the logo. There's no, and it works because it's so simple. It looks cool. It's elegant. And that's what I would recommend is just keep it simple as you can.
How many breweries do you work with?
We currently work with, I would say, just under 100 actively. You know, and it fluctuates. Like people will order something and then they'll have it for 3 to 6 months and then they'll reorder. But it's about just around the 100 mark right now.
And is there one brewery, so you've been to over 800, so you've had a ton of experiences. And one thing that really resonates with us and why actually we all got started in this is we love the beer, but we actually love the brewery experience. And that's what we really want to get out there to everyone. Obviously, it's been a little tougher with everything going on, but that's our main goal. Is there one brewery experience that was super unique, or you have like a favorite brewery that you've been to because of the environment it creates?
I mean, that's a loaded question, but I'll do my best.
You do like a top 5 or something.
Yeah.
You can rattle
you got it all.
I would say, again, Treehouse Brewing. I don't know if you guys have been recently, but it's just like Jurassic Park. Like, I mean, they did such a good job on their new place. And I know they're thinking about building like trails and stuff in there. And I think that's just absolutely amazing. So that's definitely one of them. Another one that I like and I really enjoy is like when breweries have like things to do. And I think that's really a cool aspect of breweries. They have outdoor games or even indoor. And I distinctly remember one, and I don't know if they're still around, but Down the Road Brewery, and I think it's also in Everett actually.
Yeah.
They had like, I don't know, like 50 pinball machines or something, which I thought was awesome. Yeah. They had cornhole, right, and all that. So that's kind of what I look for. And then, another cool vibe that I enjoy is like the rustic farmhouse, like in a barn, kind of old school vibe like that as well. So I'd say that's what I like. One I remember from the West Coast in San Diego, I believe, I thought was a cool vibe was Modern Times.
Oh yeah,
Modern Times Brewery. They're relatively big, but I just remember it being cool. They had all this cool artwork, all these cool colors and murals on the walls and stuff. So that was a cool experience as well. Yeah. One that I've seen that looks awesome that I have not had the opportunity to go to yet is I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, and the name is slipping me right now, but it's in Oregon, and it's like on the water, on the beach out in Oregon. I wish I could remember the name, but it's like right on the water, on the sand, on the beach, and
doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, I think that's just so freaking cool.
Yeah, and you are right. Down the Road did close. That's a that's a sad story for another day, but they made one of the best New England IPAs I've ever had.
Awesome. Yeah, they had some good stuff. Yeah. I remember them well. Yep.
Speaking of New England IPAs, do you have a favorite style of beer?
Yeah, it depends. Depends what I'm in the mood for. But I mean, I like the classic, hazy New England IPA. That juiciness is just like, it's just such a refreshing, good thing. I have recently really started to dig pilsners and lagers. I love the like crispiness of a good pilsner. They're very refreshing. Last night I had a good porter, and I was just like, oh, this is so good. So I don't like. I mean, I gravitate towards, I would say, like the Deepas, the double IPAs and the New England IPAs, but I like to vary it and kind of mix it up because your palate does kind of get like oversaturated with that one flavor if you have too many of those heavy hop loaded Deepas and IPAs and stuff.
I mean, any beer is going to be good when you're drinking it on that porch with that view.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I'm very fortunate to be here. Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be under a minute, 1 to 2 minutes. What is your, if a brewer's watching this video, what's your, why should a brewer work with you?
Say that again?
I said if a brewer's watching this video, what's your 1 to 2 minute kind of quick pitch why a brewer should work with you?
Yeah, that's a good one. I would say, we're flexible. We do what we can to work with the breweries. We tend to and try to go above and beyond what they're expecting. We always, when we can, we try to include design charges, free logo edits. Sometimes we've even created logos for places. Or artwork for places, and we're here to help. I'm more of the mindset of a easygoing. I don't want to be up your end and annoying, and you need something, you let me know, we'll do it for you, we'll take care of it, and we're here to help. And at the end of the day, what I tell a lot of my clients is, listen, I'm here to make you money. I'm also here to make myself some money, but I'm also, I want you to make as much money as you can, because then you're going to keep coming back and ordering more stuff, right? So if your stuff looks good and the customers buy it, then that's better for both of us. So, I'm not here to push you cheap stuff. I'm not here to just push merch items onto you just because, I'm trying to make a buck for myself. I'm really looking out for that brewery's reputation and branding ability, and all those factors that go into it.
So now where are you based? And I think we saw that you guys have another place out in Colorado. Is that correct?
Yeah. So we're based in Long Island, New York.
Okay.
And I'm lucky enough to be up here. I have two of my employees working and helping out back over there. And then we started a little branch off in Colorado. It's been a little slower going than we'd hoped. But yeah, we do have a little office space out there, and one of my brothers, he actually helps out. He lives there, so he helps out over there. We've had a couple clients from out there. It's been nice. A lot of them have been kind of in the market longer than some of the East Coast breweries, I would say. So they kind of have their stuff already figured out, and they have their, their suppliers and everything. So that's also like one of the things is like, we don't try to step on any toes, and like we support local, and like, if a brewery is using a local screen printer, an embroidery shop or whatnot, like I 100% support that. And I think they should. I think supporting local is like the most important thing you can do. But we offer a lot more than some of those shops can do. So we also try to kind of take that into consideration when working with some of these breweries.
Yeah, for sure.
How many people do you have working for you? I know you said your brother and 2 others. Is it a big staff that you have, or is it a smaller operation?
Nope, small operations. So just myself, and then I have 2 part-time employees. back in New York, one of those being my other brother, and then another worker as well. And then my oldest brother, he's out in Colorado helping out with things over there.
Nice. Well, Ricky, before we get you out of here, tell everyone where they can, find your stuff online, check out more of your merch, your samples, and, if you guys put out any updates or anything like that, where they can get the latest from you guys.
Awesome. Appreciate that. Yeah. So EmBREWdery.com, EmBREWdery.com. So like embroidery, a little play on the words. That's our website. But I'm most active on Instagram, just at EmBREWdery. Give us a follow, like some of our stuff. We'll follow you back and give you support. And, I think we're all in it for the greater good, and everybody loves this. This aspect of beers and breweries and the culture and all that. So, we support all that. So give us a follow and help us out. And I think you guys are doing a good job. And I've listened to your interviews and they've been well done. And it's cool to kind of see the brewers and some of the, the other employees at some of these top breweries, their perspectives and insights onto, how they got going and all that stuff. So really well done, and I appreciate it.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, we really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And again, thank you so much for taking the time to join us tonight. Again, for everyone watching, to check out your merchandise and everything, check out EmBREWdery.com and visit them on social media as well. Make sure to go or just subscribe to our YouTube channel to get all of our video content, including other Industry Insider episodes. Visit BeerSighted.com for all of our other content as well, and find us on social media. Ricky, again, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you taking the time tonight.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
Thanks, Ricky. Cheers.
Bye. Cheers.